So Charlie Kirk was murdered in front of a crowd of college students, and a lot of the reaction from conservatives has been to sort of portray him as a very godly type of like pro dialogue saintly figure who has been martyred for his beliefs. At this point, we basically understand that the shooter was sort of a internet brained weirdo who, while they had potentially a trans girlfriend, they did not have progressive politics. And to the extent which he may have killed Charlie Kirk over his beliefs, it's over something that is not necessarily a belief that is just shared amongst leftists. Now, of course, the further things get pushed to the right, the more something like basic civil rights for trans people seems like a leftist idea, but it is not. Caitlyn Jenner is trans. That's the only trans conservative I know off the top of my head, but I know there are more. Buck Angel is trans. Buck Angel isn't, although Buck Angel argues that he's like a woman or so. I don't know. I don't understand. But the whole thing is that it's not necessarily leftist to transition your gender at all. Like, that's ridiculous. And it's especially not leftist to have sympathy for trans people while they are being persecuted, especially to be angry with the people who are spreading lies and rhetoric about trans people during a time where they are being prosecuted. And that brings us to now, where there's a story that has been created about Charlie Kirk that is separate from reality and is going to be believed like from now on by certain sects of people. And one of those sects being American Christian evangelicals. And what's really weird about this is because Charlie Kirk was explicitly hateful, lots of organizations aren't like showing clips of him talking. Some conservatives are saying every clip that he says something controversial is just taken out of context. But how can that be the case when all he's saying is just what conservatives believe now? It's like you can't say that you want gay people to be eradicated because that's what the Bible wants, and then also say that when Charlie Kirk says it, that's taken out of context. Anyway, because of that, because they can't show any footage of him actually talking, there's been this weird thing where they've been playing a clip of Charlie talking that is completely AI. And so I'm going to read a little bit of this article and we're going to talk about it. This article is by Jack Jenkins, and who's a leftist Christian, and it is titled Charlie Kirk's AI Resurrection Ushers in a New Era of Digital Grief. AI-generated versions of the Christian conservative activist are popping up online after his killing, as well as in church services. So, here's Charlie being held by Jesus. Here is Charlie with the dead Pope, Pope Francis, who I think is dead. Yeah, he's dead. And then here's Charlie Kirk with the girl that was stabbed in the neck on a bus, on the same bus, and is holding her while she cries. And then here's Charlie Kirk taking a selfie with MLK and Lincoln. And then here's Charlie Kirk with Jesus again. I believe these two are taken from videos. This video is especially funny because Charlie like hugs Jesus and like runs up it's just real weird. He like runs up a staircase and then hugs Jesus, and it's very weird. But Let me read some of this. Megachurch pastor Jack Graham was in the middle of his Sunday message to Prestonwood Baptist Church in Plano, Texas this past weekend when he paused to cue up an unusual sermon illustration. After encouraging people to respond to the killing of conservative Christian activist Charlie Kirk by turning to God, he instructed the congregation to listen to a roughly minute-long audio clip of what sounded like Kirk delivering a short speech. Hear what Charlie is saying regarding what happened to him this past week, Graham said. As the clip, which encouraged listeners to pick up your cross and get back in the fight, ended, the congregation burst into applause. A few seconds later, they rose to their feet in a standing ovation. But the clip they listened to was not, in fact, Charlie Kirk from beyond the grave. As Graham made clear, he introduced the segment. The congregation was listening to a production generated entirely by artificial intelligence. The clip, which has gone viral online, was a cloned version of Kirk's voice delivering what appeared to be an AI-generated response from a chatbot asked what Kirk would say in the wake of his own death. It's unclear where the video originated, but at least 2 other large evangelical Protestant churches also played it during their services that day. So let's watch the service. That's what we're going to do.
Be a clip. I think it was created. I know it was created on AI, artificial intelligence, from the words of Charlie Kirk. I was so moved just to hear it between services. You're hearing something the first service didn't. But I want you to watch this clip and hear what Charlie is saying regarding what happened to him this past week.
First, I want you to know I'm fine, not because my body is fine, but because my soul is secure in Christ. Death is not the end. It's a promotion. Don't waste 1 second mourning me. I knew the risks of standing up in this cultural moment, and I'd do it all over again. Second, do not let this violence divide us further. The enemy wants chaos, fear, and retaliation. Don't give it to them. Instead, double down on truth. Double down on courage. Double down on your faith and on your families. That is how you honor me. Third, remember this. America is worth it. Free speech is worth it. Fighting for the unborn, for families, for sanity in a culture gone mad. It is all worth it. So dry your tears, pick up your cross, and get back in the fight. Do it with joy. Do it with strength. And never ever let evil think it won.
Where's the standing ovation? Let's see it. Let's see it. Oh, here they go. They loved it. Weird. Yeah, so I don't really understand Christians, especially the Christians that are white and rich. I don't understand the culture, and I don't understand why it would be like not sacrilegious to listen to computer generated words from a man who died and passed on to ostensibly the afterlife. And it feels like something that like a lot of Christians would consider like demonic or not possible under their like theologic like boundaries. I don't know, but I don't know. Maybe there's a justification for like God creating us who created the computer as a way for God to speak through. But that sounds like a different thing. That sounds like a different religion. And I think there's a real problem with just this whole modern AI thing where they're replacing like every little like there used to be a world, right, where everything you wrote was a little piece of you. Everything you said was a little piece of you, especially if you recorded it. And like when it comes to like historical figures, we track those pieces and they're sort of like important and meaningful. And some people only say a few things and some people say a lot. But now there's like this current space we're in, it's like there are just probably hundreds of thousands of people who have a significant body of things they've like said in text that they didn't say, and that was all produced by like a single or a handful of companies. And it's just, it feels so weird to me. It just feels so weird that we can't ever go back to that again. And that in a way, it sort of like, to me, it makes writing and speaking feel like that much more tangible, because there's a version now which isn't, and is artificial from the ground up. That wasn't Charlie speaking. That wasn't like even a reconstruction of Charlie. That was the same machine that Jim Acosta talked to when he claimed he was talking to a Parkland teen. It is a hologram, a fake image created by a company which is trying to sell you a product. It's just not, it's not even an extension of what a person could possibly think. And I mean, the stuff that the Charlie clone was saying in that speech, I don't think Charlie would have ever said to not turn up the division. I think he would have been saying, along with his compatriots, that this is the time to turn up the division. And yeah, I think it's just strange. We live in a weird, really weird spot right now, and we'll have plenty of this to come.